I live to do creativity, and that right now is my jewelry, building pieces and building my company, and getting my stuff online and working to get more exposure, and in my limited mobility to be able to do a few shows during the summer and in the fall again. But I have a really good friend who helps me out, and but more I want to try and get my stuff on the computer and online and take pictures, and it's actually pretty involved to get a business going, but then to actually have another business of editing and translating is also rewarding, because in a way it's creativity as well, but of a different nature. It's using your mind and your words, and that is also a creative process. So what usually happens is I'll be working on pieces, and somebody will give me a call and say, hey, I have this for you to translate or edit, and I'll do that, and it'll be a little bit of a mix-up. But right now I'd say 80% of my time is jewelry, and then 20% is editing. So it's actually really fun. It's a nice mix. When did I realize that my jewelry was going to be good enough to sell? I have my mother to thank. My mother was my best client for a while. So she would wear my jewelry, and her friends would see it, and then her friends would ask, and I would sell them my jewelry, and that became pretty cool to have my jewelry there. And then my family, we have a pretty big family, and we have family all over the world, which is kind of neat. So I have pieces of jewelry overseas in Europe, I have in Australia, I have in BC, and they paid to wear my jewelry, and I felt pretty good. And when people, my peers on my Facebook group actually comment and say, hey, that looks really good, and it makes you feel good. And then when you go to a show and I did my first show, and people were buying my jewelry, and they were paying the price that I had calculated, which is, you know, a big thing, because people don't realize how much goes into creating a piece from beginning to end, and people were paying for my pieces, and I felt really good, felt really accomplished, and I love it, and so I'm going to do more. The crazy stories that we get is, oh, I can make that. People don't realize how chainmail is put together. And chainmail is rings that are interwoven, and one put together in the other, and it forms bracelets, and it forms a chain, just like chainmail in the old days of armor. And people, I will bring pieces to work on at the shows, and they look at me and go, are you kidding? That's what you do? You put one ring in the other and you make it? And I say, yeah, how else is the piece going to be made? And they're thrilled to realize that that's how chainmail is made. And I use different colors, different metals, and some people are just flabbergasted that I say, what did I do? Just go to a tree and pick it off the tree? It's like, that's the craziest thing. I mean, nothing really, I don't have some wild story, but that's really it. It's how it's actually made. So, yeah. Originally, I wanted to be a nurse because that was my passion. I wanted to take care of other people. Albeit I was a little girl, and that was, you know, one of those things where you say, oh, when I grow up, I want to be this. Well, when I grew up, I wasn't a nurse. I wasn't a computer I ended up being a computer nerd. And then from there I went into secretarial, and then I went into editing and translating and children's publishing, and now I do jewelry. So wow, you know, things change, but you find what you like doing, and that is your passion. Do what feeds your passion, what makes you happy. And if you love to do something, and even if you can't do it full time, I mean, when I started to do jewelry, I would do it a little bit here, a little bit there, and I was working full time, so I couldn't devote. It was a pastime, it was a hobby. Now, the situation in my life has changed where I can't work on outside the house, and I work inside the house, and I work on my jewelry, and my passion, my part-time passion, has become my full-time passion, and I am so happy. I am so fulfilled. I am lighter spiritually for doing this full-time. But even when I was doing it part-time, and I couldn't do maybe more than one piece a month, it was just the time that I was doing it, I made the time to feed my passion. And it's something I felt passionate about. It's something that fed my soul. And if you find the time to take that time for yourself to feed your passion, you will be happier for it. And it's a must for everybody to do. If it makes your soul glad, that's your passion. And that's what you need to do. Even if it's just 5 minutes a day, an hour a month, it's something that makes you feel